music innately has such great power that it can heal if you do it in the right way. The vision that we had of reaching out to maximum number of people and create this whole wave of spiritual awakening across the world is what we really are, I think, hopefully on the path to achieve.
From what I understand is that you also want to help people connect with India's spiritual heritage.
Yes, I would say I am a spiritual being who wants to be responsible musically.
What would you say your greatest learning is from people like, let's say, from Zakir Hussain?
Every single engagement with people like Zakir Bhai has been talking to an encyclopedia. The day till today, we have reached out to more than 6.5 lakh soldiers, sailors, airmen, families, Veer Naris. We have travelled to northeast and Arunachal and the seven sisters of our country, where we have sung at borders ranging to China. Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayan Hari Om. Since Operation Sindoor was such a great success, and our armed forces nailed the enemy. Suno gaur se duniya walo, buri nazar na hum pe dalo, chahe jitna zor laga lo, sabse aage honge Hindustani, Hindustani.
Hello and welcome to Buzz by the Bay. I'm Anushka Jagtiani, and on this episode we're going to talk about the power of music as a great emotional healing force. Our guest left a very high-flying corporate job to pursue his passion for music professionally. But he's not just your regular singer. His music has a mission to uplift and empower people and enable them to connect with India's deep spiritual heritage. Very pleased to welcome on the show, Ameya Dabli.
Thank you, Anushka.
Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
So it's very interesting, your profile. I mean, you left this banking job as a global banker, went into music professionally, and now, I mean, it's not just about concerts and performing, it's a lot more to it. A corporate leader turned musician. When did this happen? I mean, it's quite a transition. How did you decide to do this?
So the inclination, Anushka, towards music was since my childhood, because my mother, Dr. Ameya Dabli, is a singer herself, and she's been a disciple of music of the late Padma Vibhushan Dr. Prabhata Yatre. So mom has been a singer, and she's, of course, she never did paid or ticketed or public concerts, but she's been singing all along. So ever since I was 5 years old and I could understand a little bit about something different than speech, because when she was to do riyaz, you would understand that she's doing something different. So tab se I have been listening to her and learning from her. So the innate desire to be in the realm of music was always there. But the transition to move from hardcore commerce space into performing arts space was about 25 years ago, when I started performing commercially on concerts as well as working. So I used to have a core job that I was a part of, and being an engineer MBA, I was lucky to be picked up by some of the finest corporate houses in my career. But in 2000 I started singing professionally, like they call in tennis, one turned pro. And since then it has been a beautiful journey, spreading goodness through music or even through performing arts, because that's what we do through our production house and also through our foundation.
Okay, so spreading goodness through music.
That's right.
And you do a lot of work. I mean, I'm going to get to that, your work with the armed forces and music therapy and things like that. So then, as of 2014, you totally quit the corporate world.
Yes. And we started our own firm because we needed to have a structure. So we started our own production house, and we started the foundation work. The foundation is called as Ekam Sat Foundation, which we started working with in 2014.
Are you a trained singer? Your mother was a trained, of course, a Hindustani classical singer. Are you a trained?
Yes.
Yeah.
So classical music has to be your foundation. If you're singing anything which is Indian, whether you sing film music, whether you sing ghazals, whether you sing thumri, whether you sing kayals, which are obviously classical styles, or whether you sing simple indie pop. if you have a training which is in Indian classical, it helps.
Yeah.
I do not sing Indian classical renditions like the legendary classical singers do, because that is not what I enjoy singing. I prefer singing soft rock. I prefer singing film music. I prefer singing what they call as semi-classical or light music, as they call it.
Okay.
So I love to do that.
Do you compose your own music?
Yes.
You do write songs?
Yes, we do. So I have written a few spiritual songs which I have released. So I have over 4 albums that have been released. Total of 42 songs that were released through those 4 albums. Some were released by Sony, couple were released by Times Music. In fact, in my current ongoing Krishna tour that I am touring with 11 cities, we have composed or arranged music which are supposedly age-old songs that one may have heard, but we are presenting it in a way which is never been presented before.
Okay. So covers of age-old songs, Hindi music.
They are not covers. They are actual because covers you may not Hindi songs. These are not Hindi film songs.
Okay.
These are spiritual songs.
Spiritual songs.
Written by poets. So
Okay.
what could have been written by Tulsi Das ji?
Right,
what could have been written by all these saints? Those are what we are presenting in a very different way.
So even mantras and things like that.
Yes.
So spirituality and music have always gone hand in hand, not just in Hinduism, in every religion,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, we know gospel music, church music, devotional music, and a lot of music, even a lot of rock music and pop music, if we see today in the Western world, the roots are in gospel and spirituality, and the same goes with Hindustani music as well. From what I understand is that you also want to help people connect with India's spiritual heritage.
Yes,
through
I
your
would say
music.
I am a spiritual being who wants to be responsible musically and not the other way around.
A spiritual being who wants to be
responsible musically in what I am doing as my craft or my art.
So when you say responsible musically, as in?
Well, I mean by that is, at my core, I know I'm a spiritual individual because all of us are, is what I believe in. Whatever religion one follows is a corollary to it, because by nature, divinity has made us spiritual. Spiritual is something that one innately does or believes in. Then as a part of one's religion, one may follow certain practices to aid that spirituality, right? So if you were to talk about gospels, or if you were to talk about Sufism, or if you talk about Sikhism, in fact, one of our intellectual properties, like we have Krishna, we have something called as Ekam Sat Unity Concert, in which I actually render all these genres of music that you said. I do gospels, I do works of Amir Khusro, I do Kabir Das ji, I do Mirabai, I do Tulsi Das ji, Guru Nanak Dev, his shabads, and we have had phenomenal response to it when we have toured, and that is one of the things that I actually also do for the armed forces, by the way.
Yes.
Because the armed forces has this concept of Mandir, Masjid, Gurudwara, Gompa, MMGG.
Yeah.
Every cantonment you go. Army, Navy, Air Force. And this was also a concert that Rahman and I did together in Bombay.
Lovely.
So
we performed
we
with
had produced, Rahman. A.R. Rahman and I, we did a concert together for 4 hours at Geo Garden in 2020. 23 days before the lockdown happened. None of us knew that the lockdown was going to come. It was a packed 10,000 people Geo Garden. And we had artists from over 16 countries who had flown down as a part of our entourage. Rahman's team, my team put together. And it was a phenomenal success. So there is a huge crowd that wants to listen to good spiritual content.
That's great that you are promoting this and bringing this, and really helping Gen Z or young people to understand this aspect of our spirituality, because I think you really want to appeal to the youth.
Yes, so honestly, my endeavor was to do this concert tour in stadiums with 1 lakh plus capacity. But the truth is, I am not as famous. And I'm not as famous. I'll put it into context why. Today, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है का ज़माना is something that has caught up. So for example, you have this whole Gen Z which is following YouTube reelers. But that is not something that one can do overnight. So what I said is, how can we attack the core of what the issue is, where there is a lot of mental health, a lot of stress-related issues that they are following. And if we were to promote goodness in the form of an appealed packaged product, let us see if it is appealing. And I'm so glad to share this with you, that our first concert tour was launched for this first concert of this 11 city tour was launched. And we are already getting requests from across the world. At least 4 countries I can name: Dubai, Mauritius, the whole of the US as one country, and Singapore, where they want us to take the Krishna tour, because a lot of youngsters in those organizations, in those countries, have loved what the clips they've seen in the concerts which have happened in Mumbai, Indore and Hyderabad. So the vision that we had of reaching out to maximum number of people and create this whole wave of spiritual awakening across the world is what we really are, I think, hopefully on the path to achieve.
So that's your mission, you know, it's music with a mission. You want to create the spiritual awakening.
Goodness.
Goodness,
Yeah.
you know, this healing, promote this healing power of music.
That's
and
right.
promote the message of Lord Krishna and other spiritual philosophies
Yes,
also.
Krishna is one way of reaching out. That is a Come Sat Unity concert, like I said. Whatever we do, we want to leave the audiences with something that they can go back home and be happy about.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
So you've even performed with Shankar Mahadevan and Ustad Zakir, late Ustad
Yeah.
Zakir, who we have very sadly lost, you
Yes.
know, recently.
So Shankar Bhai and I, we have never collaborated on an activity together, but with the rest of it, like Zakir Bhai, and I'm calling him Zakir Bhai because he always insisted on being called Zakir Bhai. He's someone who's Ustadon ke Ustad, who's
Yes,
beyond.
yes, yes.
He and I, along with Salim Muchand, Kaushiki Chakrabarti ji and Pandit Rakesh Chaurasia ji, we worked very closely for about 5 months during COVID, where we created the world's, at that time, the first online talent hunt for singers and musicians across the globe. We had 6,500 applicants who applied and who were scrutinized and judged by the 5 of us and given inputs at a time when it was very gloomy for them.
So what would you say your greatest learning is from people like, let's say, from Zakir Hussain?
So every single engagement with people like Zakir Bhai has been talking to an encyclopedia. The first thing that I learned from him was absolute humility. I mean, for a person of his stature to be able to connect with people like me, who understood a little bit of music, or to a rank outsider who came to his concert and who would ask him the most seemingly simple questions, but the intensity with which he would address them during the Barsi of Abbaji, when he used to have his students who would come during Guru Purnima celebrations. I've attended all of those and it was so beautiful. So the first thing is, if you're famous, if you are at a place of respect that people have put you on a pedestal, the first learning that I got was one must be absolutely humble with full grace and humility, and never really demean anybody's presence just because you are privileged to know something much more than they do.
No,
so that is what I
absolutely.
learned from him.
You know, I mean, I obviously didn't know him, but he came across as a very humble
Absolutely.
human being. And again,
Absolutely.
like you said, music has no boundaries. You know, here you are talking about the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna, and he's obviously from the Islamic faith. And so, you know, I mean, it just...
I'll share something interesting about him.
Yeah.
You know, the whole family, and just 2 days ago, we had Guru Purnima. His brother, Taufik Bhai Qureshi, has put a beautiful post on social media saying, Happy Guru Purnima, everybody. And he's worshipping, he's actually putting flowers to Ma Saraswati's photo. And so, where is Islam there? I mean, technically, if you follow the radical or the traditional belief system of Islam, I think people who know Islam will never have a problem with that worship, or people who know Hinduism will not have a problem with any other worship.
Right.
So probably music there helps in binding people together.
Yeah.
And some of the bowls that Zakir Bhai used to tell us, that the first thing that Abbaji put in his ear was bowl. It's one of his own video, where as a child हम बोलते हैं ना बच्चे को कि तुम्हारा नाम ये है, या we will say Bhagavad Gita or Gayatri Mantra or whatever. तो उनके कान में Abbaji, his father, put तबले के bowl. So ever since he was a baby, he was taught that this is what your destiny has to be about music. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. You know, and it's great. Music does have the power to unite. I really believe that. The power to heal
Yes.
and the power to unite. Because I believe that music has a great visceral power. It's so emotional. It's not that people always connect to it on a rational level. You know, people connect to it emotionally, and which is where
Completely.
you can heal.
Yes.
Definitely from mental stress.
So I'm sure if music is portrayed in a different way or in a scientific way, which is what I also do in my live concerts,
Yes.
either at ticketed events or otherwise paid armed forces concerts or other private events, I actually do a sample of 15 minutes or so for the audience to tell them that I want to do an experiment with you and I'll do something. Just go with the flow and see what you feel. And I actually do a session of music therapy live right there and then for them. And every time it has succeeded because of the power of music and not because Ameya is doing it. Because music innately has such great power that it can heal if you do it in the right way. So obviously one has to do research and understand it, but it has a huge impact.
No, there is a science to music therapy. I mean, because even in the 15th century text, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika talks about Nad Yoga, which is a yoga of sound.
Yes.
And they say when the human body falls below a certain frequency, that's when it falls sick, and you can use music to lift it up. So you actually do a music therapy sound healing session during your concert?
Yes, every single concert of mine.
Okay.
And like in Samaveda, we have every instrument that is defined. It's very interesting that the more one goes deeper into the science of music, the more one can extract out of it. But as an artist, what I tend to usually do is, for the common audience, I tend to avoid too much of technicality because they are not supposed to grasp the technicalities. They need to have an experience.
What is it that you do with the armed forces,
So this journey started about 10, 11 years ago when we decided that while we are doing our professional commercial music or consulting and other work that we did through our foundation or through our production house, how is it that I can contribute to the society? So we approached the army headquarters on their generic email ID. We didn't know anybody in the army then. And we said that what can we do for our soldiers and Veer Naris who have lost their men in battle, or the veterans or the paraplegics. So they were surprised because we said we don't want any money. We didn't have a foundation then. So they said why? So they did a lot of research on us, whether we had some connections with any enemy country, what was our history, because naturally why would somebody want to do it? And we said we will come and do it for you in the cantonment free of cost, our cost. And after due diligence, and our army being one of the best in the world, in fact the best in the world, they allowed us to start with a place called as Hisar in Haryana. And on 15th August 2017, we did our first concert with them for 10,000 people, where I did a combination of songs which was under the Unity Concert, Ekam Sat Unity Concert umbrella, and they loved it. And then we started our journey where we said that how can our music be uplifting and healing to the soldiers and their entire community. And then we got psychologists and counselors and people. We formed a proper structure of a foundation, and that was the day that till today we have reached out to more than 6.5 lakh soldiers, sailors, airmen, families, Veer Naris, through 179 interventions to be precise. And we've done workshops for more than 25,000 young recruits who enter the armed forces. So we're actually entrenching into the system in a very, very structured way so that we can be of some use to our Faujis.
And that's really amazing. That's great work that you do. But what is the impact? What's the response that you've seen?
The impact is, it is tangible impact, because today the CDS of our country, General Chauhan, the 3 chiefs, they have given us citations, written and oral on video, commendations stating that because of our music, which is I think the only of its kind in the world, where we are doing an outreach program, be it Kargil, where I'm singing for our Jawans at...
Oh, even in Kargil?
I've done it 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Kargil Vijay Divas is 26th of July, 24th, 2 days prior at the Kargil War Memorial, or in the area that they choose. There is a cultural program that happens 2 days prior. And the 25th is a candle march and a candle light that they do at the memorial. So 3 years in a row I have done there. I have done concerts in Dras. I've done concerts at Leh at minus 17 degrees. We have traveled to northeast and Arunachal and the 7 sisters of our country, where we have sung at borders ranging to China. So the impact is that, one, they feel that the nation is behind them because we represent 140 crore Indians.
Yeah.
Second is the music itself is very uplifting, and when you are fighting at minus 50 in Siachen Glacier and you get an opportunity to be a part of a social engagement like this, which is uplifting, you feel you're wanted in the country. And third is, a few of our generals have actually said it on camera that, Ameya, you are like the soldier who is without uniform, but who's doing so many things for us that, and this is something that still gives me goosebumps, that अगर आप जैसा एक भी भारतीय हमारे पीछे खड़ा है तो हम खुशी खुशी जान देने को तैयार हैं.
I think with music, you temporarily, at least for that amount of time, you forget what your other issues are in life.
Yeah.
Music has that power to sort of help you disconnect from what, at least temporarily, from whatever's going on.
You're right. Are you asking me as an artist or
Yes,
you're asking
I'm
me as a
asking
listener?
No, both.
Both, right?
Yeah.
So as an artist, 100%. See, and I was just sharing this with a few friends some time back, that enlightened masters say this, that your skills or your attributes or your art is only of use if you are able to use it for the benefit of others. अगर आपके पास कला है, स्किल है, पैसा है, धन है, और वो आप अपने लिए रखोगे तो उसका क्या फ़ायदा है?
You have to go beyond just yourself. And the minute you have a higher purpose, you tend to just forget about your own smaller, relatively smaller problems. And you think about serving the world at large or serving people at large.
Absolutely. Because आप अगर, जैसे आप, I'll give an example, 6.5 लाख लोगों को तो मैं जानता नहीं था आर्मी के. बट आज जब मैं कहीं भी किसी भी कैंटोनमेंट में जाता हूँ, the youngest or the junior most soldiers who have just joined as cadets, as officers, or as soldiers who have just joined as through the training centers, they come to me or their mothers come to me or their parents come to us and talk to us that साहब हमें बहुत मज़ा आया, हमारे पास ऐसा कोई आएगा हमें पता ही नहीं था. And then there are some Subedar majors who have spent 35 years in this forge. Subedar majors are soldiers at the highest rank, not the officers. They come and say, in my 35 years of service, साहब हमने कभी किसी को सुना नहीं है जितना आप हमारे पास आके इतना अच्छा बढ़िया प्रोग्राम. It's all there on my channel. Yeah.
You also play the role of Sutradhar at weddings.
Yeah.
So that's
What is
another
that?
whole different role that you do.
Beautiful world.
So what, you chant, you sing during the
So I'll tell
ceremony?
you.
What is it exactly?
Of late, there has been a great wedding that has become popular once again after a year, which was Radhika and Anand's wedding.
Yeah.
It's all over social media at the moment. So the Feras is something that is a sacrosanct ritual in all weddings that are done, right, in our culture. If I was to tell you that, do you know that there are 22 rituals in a Fera? You'd probably say, no, I didn't know. So my job at the wedding is to ensure that the focus is on the groom and the bride and on our cultural ecosystem of mantras and chants, which can be as magnanimous as the Ambani wedding happened, or it can be as simple as anybody getting married in, let's say, your family or mine, where the essence is to enjoy those 1.5, 2 hours of unison between two families and two people through different rituals that are there to worship Agni Devata or Prithvi or Jal or Vayu, all the 5 elements, and then explain why the marriage is happening.
So then you did this for Anand and Radhika's?
No, I did it for Isha and Anand.
Isha and Anand.
So I can very happily say that, in fact, when Isha and Anand were to get married, and the world didn't know that they are supposed to be getting married, neither did we, but in their farmhouse at Mahabaleshwar, Ajay Bhai and Swati Behan had invited me to do 3 different sets of music over 2 days for the family only, where the proposal happened by Anand to Isha in the temple. So the first night we performed, when we went there, we performed Bollywood for only 10 friends and 10 couples. The next day morning, Kokila auntie and Mukesh Bhai and Rita Bhabhi and the rest of them came. We did spiritual in the morning. And then during the lunch, we put a swari and we did some Bollywood and Garba and Marwadi, Ghumar and all of that. And then for the wedding, we did the Barat.
You did the
where
Barat.
Shamak was involved, I was involved, and a host of other people. And we curated something from the Mafatlal house to Antilia. And we did a whole segment of the Barat.
But that must have been such a exciting experience. I mean, the most spoken about wedding, you know, I mean, one of the biggest, most grand Indian weddings to be a part of that.
We did the after party where I did Bollywood for them.
Coming to your current work, Krishna, Music, Bliss and Beyond.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? It's a concert series, you know, where you reimagine, you know, Indian spiritual music for the current today's audience.
Has 2 key distinct parts. One is it is an immersive musical. It is based on the lines of the Bhagavad Gita's teachings, and it's very different because it's not just you come, you attend music and you go. I interact with the audience through shloks of the Bhagavad Gita, and there are songs that are intermeshed like a storyline, which are multi-genre. So there would be spiritual abhangs, bhajans, kirtans, reggae, hip-hop, indie pop, genres of music, but all around Krishna.
So it's verses of the Gita.
Also,
So can we, have a sample? I know you don't want to give everything away, but let's just have a sample because Janmashtami also coming up.
Yeah.
It's very relevant for everyone. So, for example, which verse would you choose, and would you follow it with a song? Can you
so I will.
tell us?
Why don't I do this? That I will not tell you what I do in the concert, but I'll give you an
Okay.
example of one of the shloks of the Gita, which is from, let's say, the 16th chapter, which talks about how if an individual follows one's principles and lives as per the outline of what is guided in the scriptures, then how life can be easy for you. तो यथा शास्त्रम प्रमाणन्ते कार्य कार्य व्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र विधानोक्तम कर्म कर्तुम इहर्हसि is the shloka, which means as the shastras say, कार्य करो, समझ के करोगे तो जिंदगी भर खुश रहोगे. Now I may link it with a song in Tikdi.
Yes, please.
हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Beautiful.
I'll just, it was just a sample.
So soothing. But so you find this more fulfilling than your corporate job?
Honestly, 100% yes. Corporate job was also very fulfilling, but my calling is this. So when I was doing my job, it was a job. I didn't feel it was a calling.
Yeah, so you pursued your passion and your talent. Clearly, you have a talent for it, and you
Right.
got a family,
Who supported.
it's in your genes also.
Yeah.
So, and then you pursued it when the time was right.
It just
and,
happened.
you're not only helping yourself, but you helping others also through your music.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem. I mean, come to think of it, Anushka, we have, during COVID, we supported at least 50 to 60 musicians financially.
Wow.
Through the foundation. Today, we have tie-ups with over 100 artists whom we work with at different times. It is all just flowing as though it was meant to always happen.
Lovely.
So it's just grace.
Could we end with another song, and shloka and song, or
Yeah.
song, or whatever?
Yeah, whatever you would like.
Maybe your favorite shloka and a song.
So I'll
also.
do a shlok,
Yeah.
and then maybe I'll do what I do for the army.
Okay.
मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानंदमाधवम. Which means मूकं करोति वाचालं, जो बोल नहीं सकता, he will start speaking. One who is divyang, who cannot walk, can surpass and climb a mountain. Yat krupa tamaham vande. When the Lord decides that this devotee or this person has all my blessings, you can achieve the impossible. That is the meaning of the shloka.
Yeah,
Hence,
yeah,
it is
yeah.
my favorite because I think I'm a product of that shloka.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So, and to sing, actually, there are so many songs that come to mind, but take F. Since Operation Sindoor was such a great success,
Okay.
and our armed forces nailed the enemy, we'll sing one of Shankar Ehsaan Loy's favorite composition, which everybody must have heard, which we sing in the concert when we do for the armed forces. Suno gaur se duniya walo, buri nazar na hum pe dalo. सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो, चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी, हिंदुस्तानी। हमने कहा है तुम भी कहो, हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो। हो 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 हो।
Lovely, lovely. I'm sure that's so
Thank you.
uplifting for
Thank
the
you.
armed forces.
Yeah, it is.
Great note to end on. Thank you so much,
Thank
Anand ji,
you,
for it was a
Anushka.
pleasure to host
Thank
you on Buzz by the
Thank
Bay.
you. Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
me,
much.
and thank you so much. And I wish Buzz by the Bay lots of success.
Absolutely, I'm sure they will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.